Hello and welcome to Racing in Queensland. I'm your host, Jesse McDonald. It's my co-host, Paul Knight. Welcome, Paul.
Welcome, Jess. It's lovely to be here this week, mate.
It's always lovely to be here and having a chat with you.
Oh, it is. I'm sure you can think of better things to do, but here we are once more on a Thursday night bringing you the selections for Saturday.
Unfortunately, we couldn't catch up with our Iron Man this weekend with our interview. He was over in Perth competing, but hopefully over the coming weeks we'll bring an interview with him where he's a budding horse. He wants to be a horse trainer, so it'd be interesting to get an insight into how an Ironman and his thoughts on training racehorses. But more importantly, we're racing at Doomben this weekend, and we've got the 2-year-old race. And what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, it's race 2. We're over the 1,010 metres for the cutest 2-year-old. Now, I'm selecting one from the outside here. I'm selecting number 15, Joker, by all bar one. He's got barrier 3. He recently won a barrier trial up at Toowoomba on the 18th of January. And if he gets a run, I think he'll be hard to beat. So just bear that in mind. He's the first emergency. Otherwise, I'll go for number 6, Wind Splitter by Stratum. Got the barrier 4 from the Noel Doyle stable. Stratum's presently on fire with his 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, doing a very good job. So I think he'll be hard to beat. I've gone for number 2, Psychedelic by Helter Skelter. It's got barrier 12, but won at Caloundra recently by 2 lengths and has the services of Luke Rolls taking 2 Ks off his back, so that'll bring him down to 54 Ks. And also I've thrown in for 3rd or 4th, depending whether Joker gets a run, number 1, Tax Evader. It's got barrier 9, has been consistent, won its last start up at Toowoomba. On its first run back. Its previous 2 runs had been placed at Toowoomba and Eagle Farm. Got the services of Nori Yamada there, taking the 3 Ks off his back. That also brings him down to 54 Ks, and Nori rode him at his last start win up there at Toowoomba.
He did.
So that's me. That's 15 if he gets a run, 6, 2 and 1.
You sound like you've written a thesis.
I have. I've put some thought into it here. I'm trying to give our loyal followers some sort of hope here. Now, what have you taken here?
Well, I like the top weight here, Tax Evader. Like just gave it a big rap. I like it on top. It's by Ad Valorum. I don't know
Ad
much.
Valorum.
Is that it? Is
Yeah,
that how you
Ad
pronounce
Valorum.
it? Where's he stand?
He stands at Darley. He was originally standing at Woodlands Denman when he first came out here. So he's a shuttle horse. He's got quite good qualifications and that. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
Yeah, well, I've got him on top. Like you just mentioned, he's drawn the 9. He's got 3 off his back. It's unplaced. He's obviously a horse that's got ability, in form, and hopefully it'll keep in form. 2-year-olds usually hold their form. And I'm putting this horse on top. I like the Brian Guy trained Rare Find, a son of Gonski. This is his first crop?
Yeah, first crop. So, he is first emergency there, you do realise.
I do realise that, but I'm putting him in for second anyway, nonetheless. And I'm putting in 12, Ruby Secret, a more than ready cold, out of a Zabeel mare for 3rd with the services of Chris Muntz aboard. So I've got numbers 1, 13 and 12. Race 2.
No, we're over to Greyhound Pad with Chasing the Bunny, my friend. Pat the dog. Over to you, Greyhound Pad.
And welcome to our segment, Chasing the Bunny, where I'm with our form expert, Greyhound Pat. And Pat, how have things been?
They've been very wet.
They have.
Had a long period of inactivity. But there's still one track out of play, the Ipswich one, but Albion Park's been racing 7 days a week to catch up.
Right, okay. So how are the dogs handling that?
Well,
they'd be going nuts running around the same track.
Well, they are, yeah. And there's scratchings and a lot of nominations crossover. It's tricky. It's a tricky time for the.
So what have you got for us this week?
Well, look, having said that, there's the same difficulty applies because I'm tipping off a form guide for Friday, and a lot of these dogs have raced twice in this week already, and it's hard to know, who's going to actually turn up on the day. But having said that, race 5, number 8.
Yep.
Chilled 1.
Okay, Chilled 1, yeah.
It's got a very good draw, and it hasn't raced a lot, so I'm sure that it'll probably run. And in race, there's only one other. In race 8, number 6, at odds. Pixies
at odds. Nice.
Yeah.
What are we looking at?
Look, I would hope it'd be $5 or $6 minimum.
Lovely.
And it can sort of get over and lead this race, and if it does, I think it can win.
Okay, very good. Well, thanks for your time, Pat.
That's all right.
Mate, there's been no development in any new tracks, and I suppose if they had another few tracks, then we wouldn't be stuck with just the one.
No, that's right. And Ipswich comes back, just for the people out there, Ipswich comes back on Saturday morning
Okay.
at 10 a.m.
Right, 10 a.m.
Greyhound meeting, so you can bet at 10 a.m. on Saturday.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Greyhound Pat, thanks for your time and thanks for joining us for Chasing the Bunny.
Thank you.
It's always interesting to see what Greyhound Pat has to say about the doggies, and he's got a couple of selections with us coming up this weekend at Albion Park, or Friday night at Albion Park. And no, he wasn't on the show last week, obviously because of the floods, and both tracks were flooded.
Yep, well, we're back with Greyhound Pat, so hopefully he'll be tipping a winner as he usually does.
Race 4.
Race 4, it's the Brothers Junior Rugby League Open Handicap over the 1110 metres. I've gone for number 6, Cashley from the Brian Guy stable. One at Doomben, 2 starts back over the 1200 metres on a good track, and I think she looks the one to beat. For second, I've tipped Borsh's Warrior, first up after a spell from the Les Kelly stable. I think he'll be good value and be putting in. For third, I've thrown in number 3, Ollie's Volley from the Sue Grill stable. Has been running well lately in Sydney, has a 3 kilo claim, and that'll bring him right into the race, I believe. And for fourth, I've thrown in number 5, Monashi Dancer. He's due, and at some stage of the race he'll look like the winner. So he'll be out there, and if he gets an easy run in front, and that he'll be hard to run down. Anyhow, so I've gone for 6, 8, 3 and 5. Jess.
Well, on that last comment of yours, I've got a special here, an absolute lay-downers there. I think this horse is a special. It is, like you stated, Monashi Dancer. Monashi, whatever. However you like to pronounce it, it won't matter because it's going to finish first.
Potato, tomato, Monashi, whichever one.
And like we say, Cash, it speaks all languages. So I've got it on top. I like number 5, Monashi Dancer. I like Ollie Volley for second. I did think this horse would win. I thought it would be a great challenger to Monashi Dancer, but I have my queries with Jessica Drury. I'm unsure about her abilities, and quite honest, to be honest, the jury's out with me about Drury. So and I'm putting in number 2, Pins on Parade for third. So I'm tipping 5, 1 and 2.
Now we're moving on to your interview with Daniel Griffin, the god of the Gold Coast.
John Wallace, actually.
No, we're going to Dan.
No, John.
Whichever. Well, we're going to JP Wallace then, and Jess is asking him about Shootout, his autumn and winter targets.
Let's go to Daniel.
Whichever one. Are we going to Dan or JP? All right, we'll go to Dan then, the god of the Gold Coast, one of the leading jockeys here, been the premiership winner, I believe, for the last 5 years. So over to you and Dan.
I'm with Gold Coast leading jockey Daniel Griffin. Daniel, how's things going?
Yeah, really well. Just kicking a few around this morning.
So tell me, where you're riding this weekend?
Yeah, heading up to town this weekend. Got Warrior Girl for Kelly Purdy. Comes off the run Magic Wednesday. Struck a little bit of interference in that race, and yeah, it's a really good ride, so heading up for it.
Well, it looks like Kelly Purdy's just taking up training and she's doing extremely well.
Mate, she's good. She's a horsewoman, and she rides her own work and she puts right in. She knows what's going on, so she's very confident with the horse and the way it pulled up, so it should be a right good effort.
It must be nice always riding for a trainer that was an ex-jockey because they have an understanding of what you're going through out there.
Yeah, no, it's a nice feat. Kelly can read a race, and it makes my job a lot easier. She knows what's going on, what speed's in the race.
You've been Gold Coast leading jockey now for a few years. What do you put that down to?
Hard work, early mornings. Yeah, I'm here doing the work. I get a lot of looking after through the trainers here, dedication. So, yeah, love it.
Nothing like hard work and sweat.
Yeah, I do plenty of that. 53 this weekend, and yeah, that's no feat for me. So,
what is your healthy riding weight?
Yeah, 54 I can do comfortable. 53 it's an effort. So,
when you say it's an effort, what's involved in getting down to that weight?
Plenty of sweating. I eat, like every other jock, I suppose, that has trouble with their weight, fish salad, but when it comes down to the 53s, I've got to torture myself.
Well, Daniel, good luck for Saturday, and thanks for joining us.
No worries. Cheers, mate. Ta.
Well, it was great to catch up with Daniel very early this morning down there, and like he mentioned, hard work and dedication, and you put those things into your practice, in your work ethic, you always end up very successful.
You do indeed. Look at us. All right, race 6 at Doomben over the 1,200 metres. There's the Sky Racing Nudgee Fillies and Mares Handicap. It's a listed race over the 1,200 metres. Jess, I'll let you go and have the honours on this one.
Well, I like
because
Zippy
your
Lou.
tips are like mine.
Yeah. It's very hard to go past Zippy Lou here. She's had 7 starts of 5 wins. She's by Street Cry, a super sire. I just can't fault her. Four starts at the distance for 3 wins, 3 starts at the track for 3 wins. She's going to be very hard to beat.
She will be.
The only query is barrier 13. It's the only query, and it's probably the only thing that's going to stop her. But in saying that,
all my wind. Hurry up. What do you got for second and third?
General Secretary for second and number 10 for third, which is Chaste.
Yeah, Chased.
Yep.
From the Kelly Sweeter stable.
And there you have it.
Beautiful.
9, 5, 10.
All right. Well, I agree with you. I've put Zippy Lou in for first. Has won 5 from 7. Barrier 13 is a bit of a problem.
It is.
But the track, she's 1 for 1 at Doomben at the track and distance, and that's so.
3 from 3.
And 1 from 1 at the track.
Track and distance.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, for second, I've thrown in Warrior Girl. Has a hoof on the till. Unlucky last start in the MM Sprint. She'll be hard to beat. She's got the services of Daniel Griffin, the god of the Gold Coast.
As we just saw.
So I think she'll be running right into it. For third, I've put in Funtantes. You didn't put her in because you can't say the name. Funtantes. If she's back to her best, she'll look the winner at some stage. And for fourth, I've thrown in number 10, Chased, who back on top of the ground will round out my first 4. Now,
bit scary.
We're over to JP Wallace. Johnny's telling us about Shootout, what's in order for the autumn and the winter. Over to you, Johnny.
I'm with Johnny Wallace, trainer of Shootout. And John, how's Shootout coming along?
Yeah, really good, Jess. He's 3 weeks back. He's only been on the treadmill at home, but he starts at the track this Monday.
Coming up to the carnival, what's his main target?
Well, we haven't made a proper decision, but I'd say the Hollandale Doomben Cup at the end of the carnival, and what lead-up runs we give him we'll decide on,
What's his program looking like at this stage?
Well, I've got to sit down with Linda and Graham Huddy, the owners, and we haven't really decided. There's a couple of alternatives in Sydney in April, and then back here, and otherwise you'll have a couple of runs here and then probably back into the Hollandale and the Doomben Cup. Well,
John, thanks for your time, and hope to see Shootout win his couple of Group 1s over the carnival.
Be better than ever, Jess.
There's an interesting insight to hearing, Johnny, that Shootout's been working on the treadmill over the last 3 weeks.
Yes, it is. I've been over there and actually watched him on the treadmill. It's actually quite fascinating. They get him up to a gallop on there, and yeah, it's interesting to watch. Quite revolutionary nowadays. The different angles they can go at and the inclines, which builds up their fitness.
And the good thing is, definitely, if a horse has bad joints, it has its advantages, and it's quite new in the sense that it's actually being implemented into the training regime down at the stables.
Yeah, down there at Shootout Lodge of JP's. Yeah, it's all happening down there.
Well, that bring it.
I see Johnny down there with his chair and the morning coffee and the Courier Mail.
Maybe Johnny should hop on there.
Well, I don't know what incline, but.
Well, that brings us to an end of racing in Queensland. Thanks for joining us, Knightsy.
Always a pleasure, Jess.
As always. Now, you can always join us on Facebook or follow us there and send us an email at info@racinginqueensland.com. Well, that brings us to an end. Thanks for joining us. Bye for now.